fine. Let's try that again. There we go, live. I was streaming yesterday, my stream health was always like, your stream is like shit, like its connection is garbage. Thank you, $60 internet. What do I pay that much money per month for?
What's a good way to test your streams?
What's that?
What's a good way to test your streams?
To test them? To check like your health? There is on Twitch a way to like broadcast to nothing to check your stream health. But it's not very useful, really, to be completely honest. The best way to test your stream would be just go live. Like go live, stream under IRL or something, or some like really god-awful category, like I'm playing Mother 3. Well, no, don't do that, because people actually might be like, I really want to watch Mother 3, and now you're not doing it. But IRL, you're going to be at like the bottom of the shit list, right? And then just like sit there and like you can do more things too, so you can check your stream health. You'll see that on your mobile dash or on your dashboard. But you can also do things like play with your audio settings, play with your camera settings, make sure all that stuff is good before going completely live. Every single time I go live, I have to play with my audio settings and get them set up. It's so frustrating, yeah. Like my mic is different every single time, and I don't know what's up with it. Like I'll balance my mic and desktop audio, and then go back on, and people are like, I can't hear you. I'm like, son of a bitch, I just fixed that last time. Okay, so other reasons why community growth is important, right? So we were talking about if you want to get paid somehow, you have to grow that community, right? And I was talking briefly about the Chinese paper that I was reading yesterday that was talking about reasons why people donated. Major reasons why I'd seen that paper. I might actually have you guys read this one for extra credit if you can't make it out to the Twitch meetup at the end of this month. But that one is that one's like, oh yeah, I donated because this person provided a lot of content for me. Like I paid him $10 and I got 200 hours worth of entertainment out of it. Like definitely worthwhile. Or it's clear that Dave puts a lot of work into his streams, and I like respect that. And here's some money for all that work. That came in two forms. It was either he puts a lot of work in the streams and I respect that, or he puts a lot of work in the streams and I want to help him put even like up the production values even more, or do something even better with the streams, and I'll fund that. And then the final one was like this person was informative. Like I learned how to play a game better. I learned some knowledge or technique from him, and I think the $10 is worth the amount of knowledge that I gained from him. Like those were actually kind of interesting findings to me. So community, of course, is like the people that you're hanging out with. You want to have fun, and you want to find people to have fun with. And also, like that community is where your money is going to come from. Those people who are coming in and hanging out with you every single day is where the cash typically flows from. So that's why we're talking community growth and development. Like the one term that the streamers tend to use for their viewers. What do they call their viewership?
Some sort of pet name or whatever.
Pet name? Okay. I've had like Team Talima. I know that before.
Like Ninja, just as ninjas. Join
The
Ninja
ninjas,
Army.
right? Join the ninja army, right?
PewDiePie had the bros.
The bros, right? And for all of these, like when they think about them, they're not thinking about this as a like me broadcasting to a bunch of passive receivers. Even Twitch or Twitter, you can kind of see in this format of like I'm just kind of like blah, out onto the internet, and then some people might engage with me, but it's not a bunch of people who have come to hang out with me. They happen to just be like people that are talking to me on the internet. So when we look at Twitch, when we look at like the people who come to watch streams, you've got the bros or the Ninja Army or Team Talima or whatever it is. It's not my followers, it's my community, my group of people that I have somehow curated through my actions that are here to hang out with me. An immensely important thing to keep in mind when we're approaching live streaming. That the way that this technology works is different than how we see on Facebook or how we see on Twitter. Okay, so I've actually cribbed some of these notes from, I've got to thank you at the end, but some of these notes are actually cribbed from, he's now a professor, I think, at University of Washington, something like that. He had a whole dissertation that kind of flowed around these theories. So there's a thank you at the end. Some of these things are great. Some of these, I don't know if they apply quite as well. But if we're going to come at this from an academic standpoint, there's two ways we can come at this. Like, how do we think about this in terms of theory, in terms of thinking about these things, just in case it helps you approach this. And then we'll also come from it from a more practical standpoint of like, great, theory says that, but how do I actually fucking do that, right? Or like, what actually works in reality? We're going to come from it from that standpoint too at the end here. So there's this like overall thing that we can think of here, that when you're creating a community, you have to create a sense of community for the people who are coming there to watch. For instance, if I were to go to a baseball game, the baseball game creates a sense of community, of me like engaging with other baseball fans, of being a baseball community member. What are some other places where we could find good examples of community? Like, I'm immediately going to churches. Like, churches are the first sense of like, here's a community. They get together. They're all clearly related in this one particular activity. They all engage in this one space together, and they care about one another.
Schools and sports teams.
Sports teams. Or other places where we see community. Robotics clubs in general oftentimes have this like really strong sense of community. So it's one of the things that a streamer provides, is not just being the personality, but once they get to that point, right? And that's the difficult point to get to. We've done a little bit of reading on this, or we have that sense of like getting from 0 to 1 viewer, like 1 viewer is hard. Getting from 1 to 10 viewers, also very difficult. But once you can get to that point, you can begin to your challenge becomes, how do I give the sense of community? And so there's some things that we can do here. Some big things that we want to consider when we're thinking about the sense of community is like relationships require the sense of community. Things like common ground and shared experience. Common ground is very much an academic sort of term. Common ground says we both know something and can describe it or think about it in some way, so I can talk to you about this. So we're both fans of McDonald's hamburgers. We have shared experience or common ground around McDonald's hamburgers, so I can talk to you about McDonald's hamburgers. It's something upon which we can connect. Whatever it might be, right? Part of streaming is that you begin to give that common ground, right? We're going back to, again, we've talked about this again, that noose, right? The piece of rope of, we have this shared experience, or we have this common ground of that story about the rope, about going back to the very start and trying to find that rope. That's something that is a shared experience amongst that community. It's extremely important for the community. You see this arise in a couple of different ways. We've got it here of, it's just, I can talk about these things because we both can clearly reference it, right? It's also very important, and I'll talk about this in a couple of slides, as a way of signaling that you're a member of this community. Of saying, yes, I clearly am one of Ninja's army because blah, 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 right? And someone who wasn't a member of Ninja's army wouldn't be able to talk about that stuff or wouldn't know about that stuff. It's part of being insular inside of that community. We're going to actually eschew strong ties, weak ties here. It's more of a social network kind of thing. Is really fascinating, but probably beyond us thinking about sense of community here. In general, what you're trying to do inside of a sense of community is encourage strong ties. Weak ties are kind of like, I met you once and they said, hey, hello, and then bye, right? It's acquaintances versus friendships. Interdependence is another thing that gives a sense of community, a really high sense of community. A little bit harder to get to on a stream. If you come into my Virtual Worlds class, I talk about this much more. Why we create situations where one person can't do it all. And that's to encourage community formation of, even if we come from the typical Holy Trinity tank, healer, DPS of one person can't do it all, I need 3 people or I need 4 people to be able to accomplish that, and that now forces people to interact and trust one another. gives a really high sense of community because we're all into this together. We're all contributing something unique and worthwhile that we couldn't otherwise. Continued participation in a community is tiered, so being part of a team and behaving in the norms. You can start at a kind of like peripheral level, and then over time, once you learn what the norms are, you become a more and more core participating member. For instance, if any of you do frequent streams, you probably go from being like that random person that people kind of talk to being like one of the core talking members inside of a stream. I come in there, I engage with everybody, everybody knows me, everybody says hello when I show up. So as you continue to participate, you go up from like outsider to the community to kind of known to well-known, respected individual within the community. All communities have these three things: norms, expectations, and behaviors. Norms are essentially, if I go to what is his name? Hardly Difficult Stream. He has an emote that is like hardly fail if he screws up, like he makes a bug, right? So there's a certain norm in that community where if he screws up, you use that emote if you're subscribed to his channel. Additionally, if someone does subscribe to that channel while there and you see that Twitch alerts pop up on the side of the screen, anybody that has, he's got another emote that's like hardly hype, I think it is. It's just like his face being really excited. Everybody says like welcome and then does like 200 million hardly hypes right after it, right? That's just a norm that I've seen on a few other streams, but it's particularly notable on that stream due to the slowness of his chat, right? Of like, okay, yeah, all right, like after 15 minutes, barely anything happened, someone subscribed, blah, like the entire stream lights up with people going hardly hype, welcome, like welcome to the stream, all that kind of stuff. So there's norms on every single different stream. You, as the streamer, can create some of those norms, but what you can create is expectations. And different streams do this. One of the articles I just read yesterday was, oh no, it was a tweet storm. Someone critiquing a streamer who kind of positioned himself as like anti-depression, right? Of like, come hang out with me, I'll help you do your best, like combat your unhappy feelings. And so you can create expectations of like, on this stream, we do these kind of things. You are the one in control of those expectations for your community. I don't have much of a community, but there are certain things that I do not like allow or accept inside of my chat, and I will quickly ban people if they begin moving in that direction. I'm actually pretty, how to put this? I'm not very lenient on that stuff. Like, I don't give you passes or anything. If you get a strike from me, I'm just like, get out of my chat. I'm not here for you. I don't even have the time for this. Other streamers might engage in a conversation with that or set up some expectations beforehand. In fact, we'll hop into the Twitch UI here in a second. Some of you might have seen this when you go click on the chat button, a little box pops up that says, blah, like this is how you interact on our channel, and then you say, okay, got it, and then you can start chatting. It's up to you to set those expectations. Certain streams will allow cuss words, certain streams will not allow cuss words, certain streams allow certain topics, other ones will not. Come to one of the Stardew Valley streamers, and their expectations right ahead of time is no religion, no politics. Like this is not a place or the space for this. Some third places clearly encourage this, but that particular place said, we're not here for that. We're here for other things. So you set up those expectations, which can lead to behaviors on your stream, and then eventual norms of how do we react to things, how do we deal with things, what kind of things do we say normally. There's another way to think about this also, which is from the researchers McMillan and Chavez, I guess. They also have titled this sense of community. They have broken a sense of community down into 4 different areas: membership, integration and fulfillment of needs, influence, and shared emotional connection. These are things that give that sense of community. Here we have kind of a slightly broader sense of a community of like, this is what community does, right? Communities have these norms, expectations, and we create community through interdependence. We create community through providing common ground and common experience. McMillan and Chavez are just like, when I talk about like what it means to be part of a community, what sorts of things do people quote back to me or cite back to me? These 4 things are what they talk about. The first thing they talk about is membership, right? Of like feeling like they're part of something. which really is kind of clearly inside of the definition of community anyway. And some of the things that McMillian and Chavez pulled out from their conversations with people were that when people talked about membership, it was things like there was some sort of common symbol system. I've gone really high level here, right, of just like the overarching symbol, but what are you, like, what Hufflepuff house are you in? Or what Hogwarts house are you in? Are you Slytherin? Are you whatever? Like, there's this common symbol system of like, yep, I'm Gryffindor, and I've got the Gryffindor stuff. Like, I've got Gryffindor colors on, I've got a Gryffindor badge, and I have a bag that looks like it's from the Gryffindor house, and I have this like set of symbols I've decked myself out in. I don't know anything about Ninja. Maybe he has paraphernalia. Maybe he has like wristbands or hats or something that you can wear that say like, I'm part of Team Ninja, that show that like I have this common symbol system. Other symbols that might also come on there are like turns of phrases. I don't know what people say on Ninja Stream again, but they probably have something they're like, this is what people say on Ninja Streams. And if you have that, like you're clearly are denoting yourself as part of a community. We see this quite often, like you'd probably see this quite often if we look at like gangs. Gangs all have common symbol systems. There's colors, there's signs, there's I don't even know what else about gangs. But it's the same thing of there's a membership, and I show my membership through the symbols that my members wear. Religions, common symbol system, right? Crosses, the fish. If we look at Judaism, you have like the David Star. Like all of those things have some sort of common symbol system that they speak with and they understand. If you go up to a Christian, there's certain things that like they probably should be able to like respond to fairly easily, like 10 Commandments. Oh fuck, it's been so long. Anybody here remember the Sermon on the Mount, right? Jesus gives this other list of not exactly commandments. He's like, blessed are the poor, blah, 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 blah. I love those. I love those so much. But there's that particular one too. We can talk about the multiplication of fishes. All those things are common symbol systems. So, you know, like there's things that provide membership or show membership. Stream logos. This clearly shows investment in the community, right? Of like, hey, I'm part of the community. I've taken the time to either be able to walk the walk, to talk, or even adorn myself in those things to show that I am one of this. Like, for instance, I am currently wearing a Doctor Who shirt. It's kind of maybe a little bit harder to see or understand, but like, I like Doctor Who, right? Common symbol system of, oh, cool, you have Gallifreyan on your shirt. Neat, right? Like, I understand. We're both Whovians now. So it shows your investment in the community. The other community members can say, like, yeah, cool, you're an IUPUI student. You're decked out in IUPUI shit. You are really invested in this school. Way to go. And share interest in that. Some examples on Twitch, like stream logos, sub icons, sub emotes. So when you come in there and you're talking inside of chat and your username happens to have that little stream icon in front of it, it says like, yep, I'm one of Ninja's army. Or you go into another chat and you use Ninja's emote that's saying like, again, I'm one of Ninja's army. Like, that's me. I represent and I affiliate with this particular group. So membership is the first one. Those are kind of the things that help you show membership. Communities exist for a purpose, right? They exist for some sort of need. At the end of the day, we always wind up coming back to like needs and needs fulfillment, or we could call this like desire and desire fulfillment also. At some point, a community has to offer something of value, or the people are going to disband, right? They're going to be following their desires. They're going to go towards like what actually provides for them. So a really good thing for you is to find like, what can I provide that rewards the community member? The common one on Twitch, of course, is entertainment. Streamers do other things also though too. Many of them provide like real emotional labor where they're not just providing entertainment, they're providing companionship. We're going to talk about that later in this lecture. Other things that you can do here is to reward the community member for contributing something of value or for doing something like that. So, or at least make them feel like they're getting something out of the stream. So examples that I have here are like, badges don't occur on Twitch, but they could, right? We could offer badges for things that people are doing inside of your stream. It's like, cool, boom, you get the Ninja Defender badge, whichever the fuck it is, or boom, you get Team Tally Muzz best helper award. more common things that you see here are like you give people points for watching, or you give people points in general. One of my favorite ones was Adam 1259 whatever has a bot that will just give people like points as a reward system every once in a while. Like you can just say like make it rain 1, and it will like or like if you can say make it rain 1,000, it will give all the people who are currently watching a random amount of points within that 1,000. So we'll just split it up and throw it to different people inside the currently watching. There was some sort of bug in it one time where he said make it rain 1,000 instead of splitting up 1,000 and having it just like disperse everybody. It gave everybody 1,000 instead. It's just like, oh god. But you can give people points. You can see this actually. Some Twitch bots have this built in that says like for every 10 minutes that you watch, you get 10 points. And you either can redeem that for, typically it has some sort of redemption system that goes along with that. Like redeem that for gambling. Gambling is a really common one. Like bet this many points, the gambling bot will go up with that. Yeah.
I actually was in a stream and someone had like a thing set up where people get coins and they can use them for song requests and other stuff like that too.
Yep. Mixer has it built into the system, as you said, which is plus and minus actually. Point?
Yeah, I was about to say Mixer has that where for every minute you watch, you get so many points, and then you can level up and such, and then so many. You get sparks for every minute you stream or something like that. Or watch or something like that. Another thing, and you can use those sparks for emotes.
Oh, that's cool. Neat.
Yeah, so I wonder what that was.
I tried to pull up the Steam overlay when I was playing Stardew Valley last night, and it pulled up the Mixer overlay instead. And I was like, this is garbage. Like, I might stream the Mixer at some point, but I want my Steam overlay right now. Let's actually have a quick discussion about that. Given the past couple of slides, even this slide even, what's the problem with that? The Mixer site-wide points. What's the problem?
It's too general. People can't have specialized points. It's just in general. You can watch your Fortnite streamer, but you can send emotes to your Stardew Valley streamer.
Yeah. Like to who are like what group or what brand am I being rewarded for engaging with, or am I affiliating with?
Just Mixer.
Just Mixer, right? Precisely, just Mixer. It's not actually a great system for individual streamers at all. It's actually kind of a negative system for individual streamers. So like how would you go, like if you were a designer? Well, okay. Anyway, I always think in terms of like design of like, this is a problem, now how do we solve? That's just the way my mind works. But yeah, like that's a real problem. Like if I was a streamer, I'd be actually kind of unhappy about that with Mixer. I'm like, Mixer, as a viewer, I fucking love it, right? Like I get rewarded for whatever the hell I'm watching. But as an individual streamer, I'm like, this creates no loyalty for me at all. Like the viewer is 100% fine moving on from my stream. They have no, like, nothing goes back to me for this watch time, beyond the fact that they just happen to be sitting there watching it. Like, Mixer, please do something about that. Give me some way to specific sparks only for my stream, or make it so that when sparks are redeemed on my stream, I get something out of it. And I don't know if streamers get that or not.